Hi everyone, this is Veronica, and today our topic of discussion is whether there is a need of coal commission for India. So we'll discuss this in detail. For my video updates, you can follow me on Instagram, and for the PDF of this lecture, it will be uploaded on my Facebook profile and Telegram channel. So if any one of you is preparing for any government job, you can see the list of courses of pen drive and tablet courses we have. If you want to have information related to any of the course above, you can call on these numbers or you can visit our website. Now, what is the relevance of this topic from your exam point of view? So this is a subjective level topic where the need for coal commission of India is important, and it covers the paper 3 economy, this portion of your syllabus. Now there's in prelims also about the coal as an energy source, a question could be asked like, consider the following statements with regard to the power sector in India. I have another video where I've discussed the troubles with the power sector in India, and I've discussed this coal sector and the renewable energy sector and the contrast between the two. You can watch that. So here the first statement is the demand for power is growing at a rate higher than the GDP growth rate. Second statement is the power generation from coal is greater than all the other sources of power combined together. Third is the non-commercial energy consumption is higher than commercial energy consumption. So which is the correct statement? 1 and 3, 1 and 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So you can write the correct answer in the comment box. So why it is in news? Because with the increasing emphasis on the transition to renewables, India is moving away from coal. So this we have seen. Now this calls for a coal commission for India to devise the needed strategy to protect the livelihood of those who depend upon coal, livelihood of those people here we are talking who live in the coal belt, right? So you can see here the coal belt. So this is the coal. So you can see this area of Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Chhattisgarh, even Telangana, here the Jharkhand. So this is the coal belt of India, even here. Okay. So what will happen to these people? How will they will run their livelihood if coal is gone? Okay, so firstly we'll discuss the Germany's coal commission first here. See, in Germany today there is existential tug of war between coal industry and the country's coal commission. So you can see at one side there is coal industry and at other side there is coal commission. So the coal commission is formally known as Committee on Growth, Structural Change and Employment in Germany. It is slowly but surely setting targets for the phase out of coal-based power generation. So this is, you can see, the reason for the war, because they are trying to phase out the coal-based power generation from the country's energy mix. The commission, a political settlement mechanism, it is made up of 28 members with voting rights also, and this commission includes trade union leaders, industry associations, academicians and regional representatives also. The commission will determine how and when coal phase out will occur. Besides, one of its key objectives is to prevent massive structural unemployment in Germany in that coal belt area. So now similar kind of situation we are experiencing in India also. So does India need a similar commission? So let's discuss it in Indian perspective, because India is at early stages of major energy transition. We are moving from coal towards the renewable energy systems. Within a few decades, renewable energy will become an increasing part of India's energy mix. But India's thermal coal base still provides over 60% of country's overall generation and is still growing. And most importantly, 15 to 20 million people in the coal belt are dependent on the coal industry for their livelihood. So this is a reason of concern also. The geography of India's wind and solar resources versus coal makes it clear that RE jobs will not be coming to the coal belt in large numbers, because see, the geography of wind and solar energy versus coal, you see these areas lies opposite to each other. So if the people who depend upon coal, they lose their livelihood, they cannot make their sustenance or existence or survival possible depending upon the renewable energy resources. So there is a crucial need for transition strategy for the coal belt, particularly in eastern India, as I've shown you in the map. It is now high time that India works on a commission similar to that of Germany that we just discussed for devising a strategy. Now, what were the earlier measures? Let's discuss that, because there were certain committees which have been set up. Central government committees have been set up over the years to look into the mining and energy industries. So in the early 1970s, the Fuel Policy Committee under Sukhmoy Chakraborty made key recommendation about the direction of Indian energy policy after the oil price shocks. So in 1990s, the Chari Committee. So there was a Chari Committee, right? Chari Committee made recommendations about opening up India's coal industry to private involvement. Then in 2000s, the Hoda Committee recommended changes in India's mineral exploration environment to encourage private mining companies, and more than a decade later, these ideas are slowly being implemented. And finally, the Integrated Energy Policy of 2006 articulated India's energy security priorities also, and it laid out a roadmap for phasing out capital subsidies and providing early support to RE. So in my lecture with troubles with power sector, I told about how we can phase out capital subsidies, that they should be phased out so that early support to renewable energy could be given. But how does the future look if we talk about these things? So see, the government should consider a committee to consider the future of India's coal industry and PSUs engaged in this coal industry, as well as the PSUs which are engaged in this, because companies like Coal India, if we specifically talk about Coal India, it has faced no immediate threat to either coal demand or their market power, but in future both these concerns will come up. Also, the divergence in economic performance and the incomes between India's states has intensified over the last decade. So public spending and investment have become increasingly necessary in the poorer states. Notably, many coal-bearing states are also in the bottom third of income per capita, like if you talk about Jharkhand, MP, Orissa, then Chhattisgarh and West Bengal. Right, so public investments can go a long way in addressing the challenges of the region. Evidently, these PSUs have been fairly well and have continued to operate in eastern India for decades. So with private investment largely evading the coal belt, PSUs like Coal India have built up considerable social and political capital in these regions. This is despite the political complexities, adverse business environment and infrastructural constraint in the region. These PSUs have performed very well. Now, what could be the alternative solutions here? So see, India Coal Commission can assess the feasibility of alternative mechanisms to capitalize on the potential of companies like Coal India in coal belt. The social and political capital that they have already created, as I told you, that can be used to lead towards other activities also. So these companies could become diversified national champions. So this is one thing, they can become diversified national champions as a part of new industrial policy for the coal belt. And Indian coal could be used for non-combustion purposes, and the required technologies for such a transition should be adopted. For example, Dankuni Coal Complex outside Calcutta, you might have heard about it. So the goal of the plant was to produce piped gas for Calcutta and various smokeless fuels and other chemical products derived from coal. So such kind of activities can be taken up for the coal belt also in the eastern region. So instead, if the Indian state can engage in some good old long-term planning, it can anticipate and prevent the large-scale economic distress which will be experienced in eastern state of India with the decline of coal industry. So these could be the alternative solutions. So even you can give some solutions in the comment box also. So the answer is 1 and 2. These statements are right and this is wrong. So if you have any queries, you can contact me, and the PDF of the lecture will be uploaded on the Telegram channel. Thank you.